So not only does it look not the best, but it also kind of doesn't show the best personality. Hello lady, today we're going to be talking about why designer clothes absolutely suck. And if you're new to this channel, then welcome and do subscribe below. My name is Karina and I talk about money, women, and power. In today's topic, we're going to be discussing things that you probably shouldn't be getting. And just to sum it up and kind of have a general theme to this video, basically, if you can't afford the best, just don't buy it at all. I always say this channel is not for everybody, but it is for making women stronger, for empowering them, for giving them business ideas to start and really elevate their entire selves, whether it's your appearance, your mindset, and your skills. That is my goal, for us to come together and just to get to a higher level together. So I'm going to be talking about these sensitive topics and kind of opening your eyes to things. And if you are a touchy person and get offended easily and very sensitive, then perhaps this channel is not for you. But if you're none of those, or maybe you're trying to change your sensitivity, which I suggest you do, then for sure subscribe and watch my videos from now on and my past. The topic of designer clothes, you see them all over the place. You see them in magazines, on the streets, on Instagram especially, and seeing all of that on Instagram really makes you want to purchase it and wear it and kind of follow the trends. And I'm going to be giving you some specific examples in this video as well of things you really should avoid if you're trying to look like you are top-notch, next level, and that you can actually afford these designer clothes. So a lot of people get something designer and they think that's going to take their appearance to the next level. However, a lot of the things they get actually downgrades your look altogether, and I don't want you to be in that position. I want you to look as best as possible, as classy as possible, without filing into these trends that actually make you look lower than you could possibly be, lower than your current state, and definitely much lower than what you can achieve. I'm going to break this up into segments, okay? The first thing I want to mention is the really trendy designer items that typically tend to be kind of a low balling on the designer prices, right? There's very different types of prices that designer clothing have. It could be at the low level, mid-range, and high, right? So these trendy things that pretty much any other person is buying tend to be in the more affordable range, and that kind of puts you in a broad category of everybody, and it really disqualifies the designer item. A good example, and one I never understood and would never ever in my life see buying, is, for example, anything Louis Vuitton that has the obvious LV print or the checkers. You've seen it everywhere. It's on purses, it's on scarves, it's on coats, it's literally on everything. And in my opinion, wearing these type of things that are so common just doesn't make you look as exclusive and as you are investing your money into something that's unique. There is a difference between buying high quality items that make you look fashionable and take your look up to the next level, and just buying things because they're so popular and literally any person is buying, anyone in high school is buying, people in middle school have these. Everyone has this, and it just doesn't look as classy anymore. I mean, even going back to the LV print, this is probably one of my most disliked items because I have seen every single age range wear this. I have seen these purses throughout my entire life, and most of the time they just look dingy and worn out, and people just invest like $2,000 or $3,000 into this one designer bag that they think is trendy, and they bring it everywhere. They bring it to the gym, they bring it grocery shopping, they bring it everywhere, and it just begins to lose the trend. And plus, it's also replicated so many times on, you see the streets of New York, the LV sign is everywhere. There's a lot of fake designer bags that copy this, so you don't even know if it's real or fake, and most of the time it's just assumed as a low level item. So it's just not a good investment to invest into things like that that have been trendy for forever, things that you just don't want to be a part of, because it almost defeats the whole purpose of getting something designer and quality because it's so generic. Another good example is the Chanel bag, the little tiny one that everyone has. Like literally everyone and their moms and their grandmas and cats own this type of bag. Another good example is the Gucci belt or the Gucci shirt that is replicated so many times that probably 75% of the ones you see is probably fake. It just doesn't look good. Another thing with the designer clothes, and this is point number 2, and this even looks just even worse than getting the common trending items, and that's the really loud screaming logos. Honestly, I cannot stand this. It looks like you are trying to show off. It looks like you're trying to get validation. It honestly looks like you have went to the bank, got the last $3,000 you had, and gave it to the designer company and say, give me one thing that's good so I can just show it off so everyone knows that I'm rich or that I can afford these designer things. And that just doesn't look classy. It's not something that is really adding any type of benefit in you. And this could be literally any brands. I don't care what brand it is. I prefer things that are very subtle. So if you have the brand logo that it's small, it's somewhere on the side. I don't like the big sunglasses with the huge logos like that take up the whole entire whatever. I don't like jewelry that's just screaming with designers. I don't like t-shirts that say the brand name like right here. It just looks so flashy and so unnecessary, and it honestly looks, whenever I see that type of style, it looks like that person is trying to seek validation and really trying to show and almost make up for certain areas that they feel that they lack. So not only does it look not the best, but it also kind of doesn't show the best personality. And I know this is very sensitive, and I'm being very upfront about it, but if you really pay attention, it's very, very true. It's like, do you see a girl that gets her first pair of designer and then she just posts it all over Instagram and Facebook and takes it at different angles? And I know you're probably happy to receive it, and if that's the only item you have, you are better off being discreet about it. Don't go around flashing it left and right, because that just is a mentality of scarcity. It's a mentality of lack. It's a mentality of this is the only valuable and expensive thing I'm going to have. So I would really stay away from it when it comes to that. If you are focusing on getting something designer and you want to add those pieces of wardrobe to your overall closet, then there's nothing wrong with investing into nice things. It's much better to invest into a good quality item that is a brand, that is designer, but that's just going to last a long time and be trendy throughout all seasons and be very delicate and just not screaming in your face. If you get something that's screaming, you can only really wear it a couple times before people start to realize that that's the only thing you have. And unless you have like thousands of other things that you want to show off, then I would really stay away from getting those flashy items. I would really focus on getting something that you can kind of rotate throughout different pieces of your wardrobe, because you are getting more efficient with your wardrobe. It makes you look classy, it elevates you, and you are slowly building up your wardrobe that consists of really high quality items that just makes you feel better and you look better, and that's great. And of course, not everyone, and actually most people, can't just afford everything to be high quality and designer. I'm not saying that at all. I'm not saying go out and spend all your money on designer things. I actually think that's not the best thing to do. This is kind of a topic for another video. I have another business channel if you're interested. It's Into a Milli. It's linked on my main page. So for me, the biggest investment a female can make is into herself and into business. I would not necessarily say that investing into clothing or items is really my first priority. I would honestly invest those thousands of dollars into something that's going to turn over money and make you more money so you can buy 10 designer clothing if you want to. That's kind of my mentality. That's what I suggest you invest your money into. But of course, there's always the occasional I want to gift myself if you are single, if you don't have a man or whatever. But of course, you want to spoil yourself, and the goal is to be able to get yourself whatever you want. That's obviously the great thing. But My suggestion is, if you are, you know, shopping or whatever and you can't afford designer things, don't get things that are screaming and loud and trendy because everyone on Instagram is wearing them. That trend is going to fade in no more than 3 months, and you're going to be stuck with an item that is no longer trending, that you spent thousands of dollars on, that's really not even worn to its full ability. What I suggest you do is get high quality items that are not designer and not brand, but give you a classy look. They could be quality items maybe for half of the cost without the brand, but they're still very, very high quality and don't look like you're shopping at Forever 21 or H&M or something that's like very, very inexpensive. You just don't want to be continuing to shop at those like sweatshop type of stores, because I mean, not only is that bad for the people that employ these shops, but the clothing is just not very eco-friendly either, and it just looks cheap and it's not gonna make you look good. So I really suggest just focusing on clothing that's high quality, that doesn't have all the brand logos and everything on them. Just, it's not the best look. So keep that in mind. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.